So Guerlain has fragrance that I've spoken a little bit about here and there that I've been wanting to review. Finally, I thought, you know what, I'm speaking about Petitgrain a lot lately, and tomorrow I have a full video focusing on this note, Petitgrain, the leaves of the orange tree. So I thought, let's go ahead and do a full review of Guerlain's Le Frenchy, or The Frenchy. So today I'm telling you all about this fragrance, a very, very citric, aromatic, citrusy, aromatic fougere type fragrance. So if you're curious to learn about Le Frenchy, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right. This is all about Le Frenchy, a fragrance that was launched in 2017, and I actually bought my bottle around that time as well. As you can see, this is how much I've used in maybe 3.5 years almost of usage. And you know, I've been pulling it a lot lately, and I was looking up notes, just reading about it, and I realized that it has a pretty prominent or standout note of Petitgrain. And Petitgrain is a note that I've been covering a lot recently, speaking about it in the Citrus Fragrances video over the weekend, and then I have a full video about it. And I thought, let's go ahead and highlight this fragrance because it is actually a great release, and I love fougere fragrances, aromatic, woody, you know, those type of fragrances, and this one definitely deserves to be spoken about. Anyway, I'm going to tell you all about this today, but if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, there's a subscribe button below. Please click that and also click the bell icon so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So how many of you know about Le Frenchy, and how many of you know about the collection that includes these kind of like wooden, you know, whatever, the encasings or casings on the glass bottles, which also includes fragrances like Chamade pour Homme, Derby, and Arsène Lupin, and a few other fragrances. I don't know what the collection is called. I'm drawing a blank right now. If you guys know, put it down below. But this is one that I bought, and I really loved the name of it. And actually, the first time I saw that it was a red encasing, so I thought, you know, I'm going to get it. Plus, it's a fougere-like aromatic, woody, spicy fragrance. And when I got it, I didn't realize it was that citric, because it's overly citric, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that part. But this was launched in 2017. Eau De Parfum is the concentration. Citrus aromatic, woody, fougere fragrance. Perfumer is Terry Wasser. The price here is a 100 ml bottle for $260. And for notes with Le Frenchy, you've got at the top Petitgrain, Bergamot, citrus, and Verbena. In the heart notes, you've got sage, neroli, and lavender. In the base notes, you've got vetiver, tonka, and ambergris. So typically, when you have a fougere fragrance, you definitely need lavender and you definitely need tonka beans. Traditionally, I think, or occasionally, you'll also see oak moss in the notes. Here, we don't have oak moss, but this is actually a very citrusy. I also want to say the word astringent take on an aromatic, citrus aromatic fragrance. And the astringency comes not only from the Petitgrain, because again, the Petitgrain note I'll cover a lot more tomorrow. I'm not going to feature this in the video tomorrow, but I'll cover it an extent, or maybe I'll feature it. But it has a slight astringency. It's bitter. So it's the leaves of the orange tree, which is distilled and used in perfumes a lot. And usually it goes hand in hand with notes like neroli, orange blossom, and other citrus notes. It's very woody, and it's also very green and bitter, citrus. So it's the citrus. So the astringency comes from the Petitgrain, but also from the Verbena. Verbena can go very astringent to me, a kind of bitter citric. And Verbena, to begin with, is an herb anyway, so it's aromatic, but it has a very lemony citric astringent kind of a quality to it. So with a combination of the Petitgrain, you have a very bitter start, but it's very fresh because you got lots of bergamot here, and I feel like the bergamot here is king. It rules, along with other citrus notes, which I can't really distinguish, but I feel like there's lemons here. It's a very lemony bergamot take or start to the fragrance, because at the top it's very, very citrusy but also astringent. So that Petitgrain, which is actually the leaf, as I said, works so well with the bergamot and the citrus. And then you also have an aromatic note of the Verbena, so it's an ultra citric start with aromatic touches. The heart is where the sage shines, and here, even though lavender is traditionally found in fougere fragrances, we have a little more sage here. I think the sage actually rules this section of the the fragrance. So it does get herbal aromatic, but I feel like it's a nice balance of the sage with a little bit of neroli and lavender. So there is a little bit of a floral touch here in the heart as well. So if you like the idea of this neroli, sage, lavender with the big juicy citric astringent start, you're going to like this one. Now in the base notes, a vetiver shines here, and this is drying down to a vetiver. So vetiver is a great note, very, very classy, masculine, woody, earthy type of a note, and it does shine here. And of course, there's a little bit of tonka, and tonka, as I said, is traditionally found in fougères and aromatic fougère fragrances. Tonka bean or coumarin is what you actually use, but it's here, but it's not in its biggest form. It's minute amounts of the tonka beans. And then you have a little bit of an ambergris type quality here, a little musky, a little aquatic, not so much, because basically what's ruling in the base is the vetiver. But overall, it's such a great release. It's like, I've come back to it over and over again. The only thing that I might want to warn you guys about, it does have classic touches. In fact, when I first got it, I thought it was a little overly classic. Like, it reminded me of things like Eau Sauvage, Chanel Pour Monsieur, Pour Homme from YSL. So those classic men's fragrances, even things like Monsieur Balmain or Rocha Pour Homme or Rocha Homme, I think. So it does have similar touches, but here it's gone a little more astringent. And the astringency definitely comes from the top notes. The Petitgrain, which is bitter, Verbena, which is kind of lemony, herbal, aromatic, and with all those citruses at the top, the lemony touches, the bergamot, and it's a very, very astringent start. But you know what? Those are the kind of fragrances that work great in the summertime, doesn't it? Like, I love citruses in the summertime because they're just refreshing and very, very, happy. They're very happy and uplifting kind of fragrances or notes for fragrances. And here it does a great job with the citruses, and it's a great balance of citrus and aromatic, and that's why Guerlain claims that this is a citrus aromatic fragrance. For me, it's an aromatic fougere with lots of citruses, but I'll go with citrus aromatic because there's a major dosage of citruses here, as I said. And not only do you get it from the Petitgrain, the leaves, the bergamot, and the citrus, and also the verbena. I'm sorry, not the vetiver. But then it also comes in as a floral touch with the neroli in the heart. But overall, a great scent. It's very classic, but very modern at the same time. It's dressy, it's classy, it's sophisticated, but definitely focused on the past, but bringing it to the modern days and making it a very, very modern experience. But just be warned though, it is a modern take on a classic men's fragrance, but it's very, very wonderful. I enjoy it. I really do love it, and I wanted to highlight it for you guys and let me know what your thoughts are on this. I took all my notes down from the Guerlain website, and just so that you guys will have the appropriate notes here. And I highly recommend it. Get yourself some samples or decants to test it out, because it's a very classy fragrance, and I think it's a perfect time of the year to wear this, where it's fresh and refreshing, sparkly and effervescent, but also aromatic and spicy at the same time. Anyway, that's Le Frenchy from the house of Guerlain. I decided to pull a classic out of my collection. I'm actually going to do one more video on a Guerlain fragrance very soon, of a release that was launched last year that I recently picked up. Finally, it arrived after a year after its launch. I'm going to review it for you guys. If you guys can guess what that is, it was launched last year. It's a men's release. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on Le Frenchy. Do you have it? Do you own it? Do you like it? Or maybe you've tried it and you thought it was a little too classic smelling. Put some comments down and let me know. And if you haven't sampled it, are you curious? I mean, does it sound exciting or interesting to you? And have you been curious about it all along and you just couldn't get samples or anything to test out, or physically go to a store and sample it? Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.